amazing to me because every single week it feels like I have at least one conversation with somebody, whether it's a DM, whether it's a phone call, whatever it is, I get something, or whether it's somebody that I know that says, I love watching what you're doing. I love this. You're just doing it. You're chasing your dream. You're living the life that you want to live. And I have this conversation every single week with at least one person. It's funny because I look at him and I go, well, so can you. You could do the exact same thing that I did. I had somebody on TikTok a couple days ago. I posted something and they're like, quit selling a false dream. And I said, oh, nice to meet you too, bro. He was like, well, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, look, dude, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I'm saying that if I bleed red blood, you bleed red blood, then why couldn't you do it too? But guys, I can't imagine. And I was in this for 4 years back in 2013, 14, 15, and 16. I was knocking doors for a living. It wasn't that long ago. It felt like yesterday. I was knocking doors for a living. I'd wake up, I'd put on my golf shorts, I'd put on my company polo, I'd put on my lanyard, I'd put on my little belt, I put on my matching Nike shoes and my hat. And I would literally go, and somebody was buying my time to go and knock doors. One of the hardest jobs I've ever done. Somebody asked me this the other day too. What's the hardest thing you've ever done? And knocking doors without question is the hardest thing. But I have these conversations with people, and I'm sure some of you guys are probably wondering the same thing or maybe saying the same thing. And all I want to say is this, is like, if you really sit down and think about it, you could start today. You could literally start today. And I know there's, well, I've got bills and I've got this and I've got to take care of my dad and yes, but you could start today because every single person, I promise you, you think you're the only one that has problems. You're the only one that's going through an injury. The only one that's going, maybe they got a death in the family, which those things are real big things. And I don't wish this on anyone. You think you're going through a relationship problem or everybody's got a story, dude. Everyone's got something they're going through. So if you're just going to continually say when this thing happens, when this changes, it's never going to happen. That's just the reality. When I was knocking doors, I was making good money. I was making $150,000 to $200,000. And I kept thinking to myself, man, maybe I'll just wait another year. Let me just wait until I have this thing going a little bit better. Let me wait until I have some money coming in. And I knew myself well enough that I was like, Nick, if you don't just cut it, if you don't just stop now, you're going to be trapped in there. You're going to be 35, 40 years old, and you're still going to be knocking doors, and you're going to be trading your time for dollars. Meanwhile, the guy that owns the company is buying golf courses, using one hole to build his estate on and donating the rest back to the city because he doesn't need it. And you made $150, which is fine. But why not be that guy? Guys, if you're going to put in the work, if you're going to sweat, if you're going to bleed, if you're going to cry for something, like I'll go knock doors all day, but I'll be damned if I'm going to do it for somebody else. I'll go do the hard work. I'll wake up at 6 a.m., at 5 a.m. I'll stay up late. I'll make the phone calls, but it sure as hell better be my thing. And some of you guys are making people rich. You're making people so much money because you're putting in all this effort. And be a good employee. You should be. I'm not saying to screw them over, but consider if you took that same energy, what if you put that into your own thing? That's the same thought that I had with myself. I'm like, I worked so hard to make this $200,000 and it feels good because I didn't go to college and I'm not a doctor and I made $200K, but I put in so much effort, so much fear I had to overcome to go knock all those doors. So many late nights, early mornings, sacrifice this, sacrifice that, miss the 4th of July, miss the lake. What if I just took all that same energy and put it into my own thing? Surely I would be successful and I would own it. So guys, like all I'm saying is I have these conversations, and for those of you that are like, man, I just really admire what you're doing and I wish I could. You can today. But most people that listen to this now or in a week or in a couple days, they're going to say the same thing. Well, I got to take care of mom. I got to be whatever. You could start today. It's like I had a buddy that he used to say, man, and he's like, it's so hard to get out of the hood. And I'm like, just drive, dude. And he's like, well, I'm talking about the mindset. And I'm like, no, I understand what you're saying, but like, I know it's more complicated than that, but like, what if you just stopped today and you started new? So it doesn't have to be more complicated than that, guys. I remember just a few short years ago, there was this guy I would always see at the gym. We'd always chat. And I remember asking him a couple times, I'm like, his name's Matt. I was like, Matt, like, what are you doing on Friday? We should get lunch. He's like, no, dude, I'm not working on Friday. I work Monday through Thursday, and then Fridays I golf. And I remember going, dude, you lazy, lucky. Like I had all those thoughts. I'm like, wouldn't it be nice, And I'm like, man, and I'm over there like knocking doors. And I think at that time I was actually doing SEO and I just couldn't afford to take a day off, but it's just been cool. Like I now have the ability to set my own schedule. If I want to golf in the middle of the day, I golf in the middle of the day. You're not that many deals away from having control of your life. You're not that many deals away from having control of your time. And when you get control of your time, control of your life, when you get rich, I'm talking about freedom when I talk about rich, financially free, your location free, and your time free, and you can do what you want, when you want, how you want, dressed how you want, that's when you start to live. When you've escaped the rat race, that's when you're going to experience what life's really about.